Hello, good evening, and welcome to Goblet Games Friday edition. I'm Ben, and we're going to be playing some Masks, a New Generation tonight, which is a part of my ongoing
You got
quest to make
superpowers, right? You fight crime.
superheroes actually happen on Goblag, because it's been a battle, it really has. So, with me tonight, we've got Nye and Aaron and Leon and Jim.
Hello.
Totally
Hello.
different order to the way you can see them on your screen because I'm just reading off of my Zoom window up at the top there. So, Masks are powered by the Apocalypse game, which I guess I'm a very late comer to because I only really tried it a couple of weeks ago with Lewis's Monster of the Week campaign, and I decided, hey, you know what, that looks pretty cool. Let's have a look at some of those. And I've been reading a couple of these, and then I was talking to Matt in one of our regular Garblag meetings that we have because we're super serious. And he was like, well, I'm going to run Star Wars, but I can't run it every week. So I was like, hey. Glad to see Aaron is here after yesterday. Yes, Aaron went out and punched the entire California power grid back into shape.
I did. I was very, very irritated to miss both Monster of the Week and Delta Green yesterday. I was very hot under the collar.
Yeah, that sucks that you missed. I mean, you've been in Delta Green from the word go as well.
Yeah,
At least with Monster of the Week, it was just a one shot.
I know, but I had such a cool character.
Yeah.
Is Delta Green the one where you shot someone the week before?
Oh, yeah. No, I totally killed one of the other player characters last week, so she deserved it.
They were asking for it. So, yes, Masks, a New Generation, is powered by the Apocalypse game by Magpie Games, which is about third generation superheroes in Halcyon City, which is a city that's had superheroes, surprisingly, for 3 generations, dating way back. And they've got the Golden Age superheroes who were the first generation, the Silver Age, and then the current crop, and nobody's really sure what to call them. So some of them are legacy superheroes, the children of existing heroes. Some of them are newcomers. Some of them, slipped and fell into a vat of toxic goo and acquired their powers from that. So there's lots of different options available for where your powers come from and what you want to do with them. One of the things that I think interests me the most about Masks is the idea that you can affect someone else's stat line through actions that you take. So you might start off with a stat line on your playbook, but it can change based on the actions of other people. So you might find that you're only a little bit heroic, but then along comes someone who gives you a bit of a pep talk, and your heroic rating goes up and your superiority rating goes down, and suddenly you're feeling less of a smug a-hole and more like you want to save people, which is pretty cool. Oh, the stream title is still Visid. Thank you for pointing that out. I will change that now.
So keep an eye on Aaron.
Usually it's positive when you affect another character's stat line. It's very rarely. You can't just okay, well now you're bad at this. Oh. That'd be unfair.
So without any further ado then, now that I have amended the title, I only kill those who really deserve it, sort of.
It's like, I only managed to kill her because Matt was slower on the draw. So
I do feel like the statement "and Aaron shot someone in a game" doesn't narrow it down for me. I feel like I'd have to okay, so what time when was it this game, that
was it
game?
Spire? Was it?
There's quite a few, yeah.
I do tend to shoot people. Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay, it happens.
As long as it's not us.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So we're going to start with just the basic playbooks because I'm still fairly new to this. I know Nye and Aaron have been playing this for a lot longer than I, so I shall be falling back on them for rules advice, and there's loads of additional playbooks, but I thought we'd start with the basics and see where we go from there. So first things first, you need to pick a playbook. So I've shared that with everybody for you to see. So if you would like to take a quick looky-loo, not with everybody on the screen, just with everybody in the game. Probably should have been a bit clearer on that.
Okay, and you need to share your books with the whole stream, okay?
Copyright lawyers love it when you
Yeah, oh, they love
display
that,
books
yeah.
all through the screen. There's so many
Of
fun
course they love
heroes.
it. Yeah, exactly. There's 10.
I think I want to hear what
Customize
Jim and
it.
Aaron are playing first before
Well,
I.
I've got 4 or 5 top favorites, so I was going to let other people go first. So I mean, they're fun things in just about all of them. So
Aaron's got the same problem I do.
yeah, it's
So I
like
was-
there's not really a bad one to play. They're all
No, not
very
at all.
interesting.
So
That's
to give
the
you a
transfer.
little rundown on what there is.
That's true.
Ba, ba, ba. What
I had
we've
this
got-
character concept that I was going to be the son, like the half son of Cthulhu, and called Kid Cthulhu, and I was doomed. No, not really.
That you would be. It's your dad's coming to pick you up from
Yeah.
from being on. Guys,
Dad's
no.
picking me up later on. He's like, all right. No.
That would be kind of the Nova, though. I mean, the ability to totally affect reality. When
Yeah.
you,
So
Oh, yeah, you
the
can-
main
no.
character types that we've got is the Beacon, which is your super normal. That's your Batman or your potentially Hawkeye style character, who's very good at being normal, not so great
Yeah.
at actually being a super.
wish I was
And-
good at being normal.
and very peppy. Like a big
Yeah.
part of their persona is it's like, oh yeah, I have like a bow and arrow, but I'm gonna fight like a guy with 12 arms and lightning shooting out his eyes, and
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
So they're the heart of the team. They're low powered, low angst, and they're a hero because they want to be.
Yeah.
There's the Bull, who's the bruiser with a heart of gold, created to be a weapon, and caught between being a cold, gruff fighter and deeply caring about their teammates. There's the
Wolverine.
Delinquent, yeah, your Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine.
The Delinquent, who's your Loki-style character, troublemaker, attention seeker, rabble-rouser and rebel, tricks, deception and provocation. The Doomed, the dramatic martyr, cursed to ultimately lose their self to some terrible fate and against a terrible nemesis. The Janus, hero with a dual life, secret identity and struggle to manage the two at once.
Yeah, Spider-Man basically.
Yep, Spider-Man. Yep.
Yeah, it's
The
Spider-Man.
Legacy, the latest in a family of heroes, part of a larger tradition with its own enemies, rules, and obligations. So, John
Superboy,
Kent,
Kid
Superboy,
Flash.
Yeah,
Kid Flash.
Or like all the Shazams, I guess.
All the
Oh, yeah.
Shazams,
Oh,
yeah, good point.
yeah.
Actually,
The
the-
Nova, who is the overpowered conflagration. Phenomenal cosmic power, but it's really hard to control, and if they lose it, they kind of explode a little bit.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix, yeah.
The Outsider, who's like an alien with strange powers. There's your Miss Martian or your Martian Manhunter. Do they
Anyone.
want to
Warlock.
stay here or go home? The Protege, the extremely well-trained understudy, which definitely isn't based on Robin at all. It's the Robin / Nightwing transition.
Do the
Yeah.
proteges have to have a half a cape?
No, I think you can make your own fashion choice as a protege. And
Yeah,
the Transformed, which is someone that looks like a monster but still has a human mind. They used to be a regular person but were changed forever. So Ben Grimm
Hulk.
Yeah.
or the Hulk would be
Yeah.
your prime examples there. So that's the sort of 10 central character types that we'll start off with.
And I think it's only the Bull which has a specific power set. Everything else is quite malleable of what type of powers you can have. The Bull, though, is like super tough, super strong, and that's kind of their whole shebang.
But you know what you're getting. If you decide to play a
Oh,
Bull,
yeah,
you want
yeah.
it to be someone who is super tough and super strong.
Exactly. Yeah. You're a bulldozer. Potentially, literally, because they do say you can choose. It's like,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I turn
Just-
into a bulldozer. Yeah. Which I think if you were like robbing a bank, you'd be fucking terrified of a superhero like that. Who's this guy? Oh my god!
But yeah, there's also the sort of villain equivalents of all of those as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut
It's the
and
perfect
Rhino.
bull. Rhino.
are good examples of bulls.
The Wrecking Crew. All of the Wrecking Crew.
All of the Wrecking Crew, yeah. I mean,
Solomon Grundy.
all supervillains are delinquents. Transformed would be Solomon Grundy, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Jim? What do you think, Leon?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm holding out for you guys.
The Spider-Man's my favorite, so I don't want to go for Janus just because I love Spider-Man so much. So I'm thinking Transformed. Because Transformed sounds kind of cool.
Transformed doesn't have to be, just a one-dimensional Hulk smash character either.
Oh, I better pick someone else.
Can be, though.
You can. I'm not saying you can't do that. I'm just saying that if you wanted to go transformed, there's a lot of different ways in which you could be transformed.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of all the different.
Jack Hawksmoor could be a good example of a transformed from the Authority, who was kidnapped by aliens every few days throughout his entire childhood, had turned into a city symbiote, and he can merge with entire cities and transport himself from one to the other. I got to admit, the Authority are my favourite super team.
I just love the idea of it's like, I can merge with the whole city. I mean, I can make plants grow really quickly. I mean,
turns out that Jack Hawksmoor's purpose in his origin story, in his background, is that aliens that have been kidnapping him to modify him have been doing it because the racist future city Kansas is traveling backwards through time to destroy the Earth, and they need him to stop it. And so he puts on Tokyo as a battlesuit and punches Kansas.
You gotta love
Kansas
that.
City, yeah.
He sounds like something you need to read because just hearing you say it, like
the team is
that's
just
a lot of concepts.
they're all like god tier superheroes. So even their Superman Batman combo, you have Apollo and the Midnighter. So Apollo is basically a solar powered Superman. Heat blast,
So Superman.
super strong. Yeah. Only Apollo and the Midnighter are also a gay couple. So it's like somebody looked at the comics and went, "Hey, what if Superman and Batman were a gay couple?" Only instead of Batman being, I don't have powers, he does have a power. The Midnighter's power is he wins fights.
which is a pretty good power to have when you're in fights a lot.
He does not lose. That's true.
And everybody's like, how do you justify that? How is that a power? It's like, no, trust me.
What sort of mutation would I want? If I was the transformed, how would I be grotesque? Don't think ones I like.
I mean, Ghost Rider would be an example of a transformed as well, potentially, because when he powers up, the flaming skull thing going on.
I think that's the... Oh, sorry.
Human Torch, yeah.
I think that's the kind of the beauty of Mask, is that all the playbooks can kind of meld quite easily into several different heroes. Like the Beacon could quite easily be Hawkeye, but could also be Kitty Pryde, who I think we can agree are quite disparate heroes, but it's the benefit of...
I mean, it could be most of Daredevil or even Iron Fist to some degree. Except Iron Fist has magic punching.
I kind of just want to go for Janus just because Leon said he wasn't going to go for Janus because he loves Spider-Man. I'm joking.
Yeah, I know to do it because otherwise...
Woo, his character's awesome, Leon!
otherwise all I would be is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Rodent man. Does whatever a randomly selected rodent of choice can.
Oh, that would be awful. You just look like a rat all the time.
Well, Squirrel Girl.
Yeah, but like, she has a squirrel tail and squirrels. That's it. I assume you mean like a whole, like a rat.
I see what you mean, a big rat head.
Hands, like, yeah. She just wears like a hat, and then that's it. People are like, "Oh yeah, you're human." Whereas like, you're a giant rat. It's like,
oh, there we go. The chaos has begun. People are telling them to pull inspiration from the Tick.
Nothing wrong with the Tick.
It's exactly what I said would happen on Monday, isn't it? I said we'll start out with every intention of doing Teen Titans, and we're going to end up with Teen Titans Go.
I'm going to play the bull.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I'm excited.
Okay, then I'm going to go with the Doomed.
Dude.
I think I'll go with Protege then. I know I was joking about Janice, but I would actually feel kind of guilty playing that. So yeah, I'll go Protege.
Okie dokie then. Well,
Gonna stick with
let's
transformed.
take a look at what that means. So, Jim, for the bull, because it's the first one alphabetically. Hey, I'm a simple man with simple needs. Big, strong and tough. You know what fighting really is and you're good at it. You've got a soft side too, but you only show that to the people you care about. Everyone else can eat your fist. So you need a hero name, a real name, your look, and then what abilities you have. So someone or something changed you, made you into a perfect weapon. Superhumanly tough, incredibly strong, and uniquely skilled at fighting. Decide how each of those abilities manifests. So, I mean, you could be an absolute walking tank of a guy, or you could be a really, really scrawny little thing with fabulous psychic might that just expresses through your body.
Okay. Leave that with me for a bit while I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And you get to choose a couple of moves that can help you with that. After the bull, who's next? We've not got a delinquent.
Probably be Aaron's Doomed.
Aaron's Doomed. Something about your powers dooms you. It's just a matter of time before your doom comes for you. Until then, though, you've got a nemesis who needs fighting and a world that needs saving. After all, it's better to burn out than to fade away. So this is your classic Raven from Teen Titans kind of character. Phenomenal cosmic power, limited time frame to use it in. What are you thinking then, Aaron?
So he's going to go by the hero name Rust. That's really just his last name. His full name is Rasputin Rust. And if you're wondering, he is somehow related to
This is something we talked
Serrano
about in the
Rust.
whole naming thing, though, isn't it? It's having a family name that you can drop in is a handy way of doing things. I love it. So he's related to your Monster of the Week characters.
Yes, he is. He's their older brother in a different timeline, and I'll explain how that all happens when we talk about his nemesis.
Excellent. And then after the Doomed, let's scroll down to the Protege.
Yep.
What have we got about the Protege? So, the Protege, you've proved yourself to be an experienced hero. They think you've got what it takes. They've been training you for a while, and now you have to decide. Do you want to be them, or will you find your own path? Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. So I haven't got. I'll think of a hero name, but I have a pretty good idea because the Protege has a weird thing. Well, I mean, they're all weird in their own way for their abilities because I get. So there's three. There's an ability I share with my
Mentor.
There's my own ability, and then there's an ability that the mentor possesses. So I'm just picking them at the moment. But yeah, I'll come up with a hero name and stuff. I just need to have a wee think.
And then Leon. Leon's probably got the most complicated one so far in some ways because it's the transformed.
I was random rolling on the appearance and looked to try and help me build the character. So I've got scaled flesh and a terrifying costume. And so I'm thinking I've got human eyes. I think I'm going to be kind of like a Gilman-esque type or like something reptilian.
Reptilian?
And amphibious. Yeah.
Ape Sapien out of Hellboy or...
Yeah.
So I random rolled on the powers as well. I got inhuman might and superhuman senses. So I figure very, very bulky, big character. And then kind of like more animalistic ears and animalistic sort of smells and sounds and things.
Almost like a good guy version of Killer Croc.
Oh, that's good. That's good thinking, Ben. Well done. I'm writing that one down.
Friendly alligator.
Yeah.
Or, the legally distinct.
No. Kindly Croc. Kindly Croc.
Oh, that even just make it even slightly too on the nose. Wait a minute, I think they're taking our name. No. Yeah. Just having a think. Are we allowed to
The
just
name.
Oh, sorry.
No. I mean, someone else talk because I'm just thinking of a name now.
Well, I'm wondering if this is like school, where it's like, are we allowed to go further ahead in the book than our other peers, or is the teacher going to show us?
You can skip ahead. I'm happy to differentiate for your different needs and abilities.
Okay, so Rust, he's got rust color eyes, and has, as one might expect, a grim costume. I don't know exactly what it'll look like yet, but his abilities are superhuman strength and speed, psychic constructs, and vitality absorption.
Ooh.
His nemesis is, as you might have guessed, Granny Longlegs.
Yeah.
Yes, Granny Longlegs. So what happened was, in his past, he was the oldest of 5 children in the Rust family.
Careful, you're limiting yourself to only another 2 characters there now.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's what that was canon though. There's the twins that haven't come into play yet. The two middle brothers and old Rasputin Rust here. But in one timeline, Granny Longlegs surprised his parents, killed them, killed Rasputin and the twins. But in this timeline, his parents, who were both middling sorcerers and conjurers, recognized the threat of Granny Longlegs, and as she was coming up, had started a ritual. But the ritual required the sacrifice of their oldest child. And the form of that sacrifice is that they bound Granny Longlegs into his soul. His soul has become a prison for this greater vermin demon. And through this connection, Rasputin is able to tap into the nightmare realm from which Granny Longlegs comes. So his psychic constructs are things that he pulls and manifests into reality from people's nightmares. And when you're struck by these nightmaric creations, it drains some of your vitality from you. But he knows eventually Granny Longlegs will find a way to break free from her prison and probably slay him, unless he can find a way to confront her first on his own terms.
Cool. Yeah, so how about like a rusty suit of armor?
Yeah, something like that, like a
costume thing.
like
So
rusted, like a rusted chainmail shirt
Yeah.
under like a distressed biker jacket, kind of this mishmash look. No mask, because he doesn't try to hide his identity, but his eyes are the color of rust. And when the nightmares start to manifest, it almost seems like his skin fades away a little bit and his skull becomes more prominent.
I can feel that. I get that when I'm dehydrated. Behold my skull!
I'll stop my Aaron going first, because it just increases the pressure to come up with a really cool character. I'm Frogman. Not as cool as...
My costume includes flippers and an aqualung. No, I'm an actual frogman. What are you thinking then, Nye?
I'm still just kind of going through some stuff. I really shouldn't have opened my mouth, because that just raises attention to how I've not finished my playbook. I was thinking of going for mimicry, power mimicry as my ability. My mentor's ability is telepathy, and our shared ability is detective skills, because I think that's interesting. And I'm now just going through some of like the moves and stuff that I'm wanting to take. But I kind of like, at least for me, I like piecing it together, like the whole thing, and then kind of making the story from that, at least for the character.
A mentor with telepathy gives me plenty of ammunition for them to like check in on you at inopportune times.
Oh,
Hey,
I
how you
regret-
doing?
Yeah, no.
Busy.
I'm being slammed into the Empire States Building. Can you please call later?
Leon, you got super strength and super senses, didn't you?
Yes. So I'm thinking, I'm got guess which Spider-Man villain I'm stealing this story from. So was ill as a child, teenager, and then entered into a medical experiment that was maybe not entirely legal or good and practical. And it was kind of like the neogenetic recombinator of 90s Spider-Man storyline fame. It's Dr. Connors, basically lizard person is what I'm going with. So I ended up, that's what transformed me. So it also healed me, but then all the side effects of the genetic mutation turned me into this sort of mishmash of certain reptile animals to help me heal up. And so that happened a couple of years ago to my character. My character's called Jet Rink. I don't think I've got a hero name yet. I don't think he's cool enough to come up with he's thinking because he's got scales. He's thinking calling himself the Scales of Justice, but he knows that's lame.
Do you know what rhymes with jet rink, though? It's a kind of lizardy thing. Skink.
Ah, the skink.
They're those unfortunate snake lizard things that have two little stubby front legs and no back legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Got back legs. Stress that. And the person who helps me understand my powers is the doctor who transformed me.
Uh-huh.
My playbook. And then I'm still working through the rest of my backstory questions.
And that's fine.
I've got why don't I just try and hide myself away? And why do I care about the team? Why do I care about the team?
Well, that one, I think that one we can save for when we're doing our group dynamic and stuff, because it's more of a like you ask the group. I don't know. Sorry.
What have you thought, Jim? What have you gone for?
I'm struggling at the moment. I'm struggling.
That's okay. Do you need any help with it?
No, cool.
Because, we got Nyan. He's our resident expert.
I can. What are you struggling with, Jim?
I'm struggling with the name.
Oh.
Well, what sort of... you've got your super strength. Have you chosen some moves?
No, not yet.
Okay.
How do I choose moves?
It's further down the character generator. You choose two bull moves.
Although they're not like superpower moves, they're like mechanics that you can thingy your stats with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it on the ball bit, is it? Ball moves, there we go.
Yeah.
Thick, unthick, thin skinned, whenever you have it.
What does your character look like?
Do you think they're going to be big, bulky type person, or are they going to be like small but with super strength?
Yeah. Big, bulky sort of kids, yeah. Physics of knowledge powers to barrel through. Okay.
You could be wrecking ball and just shout Miley Cyrus lyrics at people.
That's another hero that I'd be terrified to face if I was a villain. That's... You just hear some Miley Cyrus and you're like, fuck, we gotta go.
Take me to jail. It's okay.
I do have to admit, when I watch some superhero stuff, I'm just like, if I was a villain there, I'd just be like, no, I surrender, man. I know what you can do. Just, it's cool. Fuck this.
I had that when the police turned up at my flat at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I realize why they do that now, because I was so tired. It's just like, oh, you got me. I'm not running. just let me get dressed. I'll come with you. I'm so tired. They weren't looking for me for clarification.
Yeah.
They were looking for someone else.
Don't worry, Leon. We know the police wouldn't be after you. There are other government agencies that are hunting you. TV licensing authority.
But answer my next question, why don't I just try to hide myself away? Because my character was stuck in hospitals and indoors all the time. Kind of had like a social distancing thing. If you can try and envision something like that, imagine that. And so he's well enough to go out. He's not going to stay indoors anymore.
Yeah.
So won't be forced to hide away.
A little bit more on Raz Rasputin Rust, or Raz as his friends call him. On his backstory, when did you first learn of your doom? Obviously, as a preteen, when his parents literally turned him into a prison for this demonic horror. Where did you get your sanctuary? His sanctuary is a dream version of his home. So when Granny Longlegs was caged and her nightmares were caged in him, a perfect version of his home was also caged within him, and that's his sanctuary. Why do you oppose your nemesis? Obviously, because she'll be the death of my entire family. Who outside of the team is crucial to defeating your nemesis? My younger brother, Serrano Rust. She has an interest in him. And then about my doom, I'm doomed. My powers will be killing me. One way or another, my future is grim. What brings my doom closer to me? So, showing mercy allows Granny Longlegs to claw closer to the surface, as does talking about my doom openly. So it's one of those things like about kind of like Cthulhu. When you talk about Cthulhu, Cthulhu hears. When I talk about Granny Longlegs, she hears, and that emboldens her. So those are what increase my doom track. My sanctuary has a teleportal. Basically, I can travel through my sanctuary elsewhere because it's in the world of dreams, and dreams touch everything. It also has healing equipment. I think more of like a healing aura when you're in there. That's that perfect place of peace. Art, music, and food. In other words, it's sustain me. You can sustain you while you're in the sanctuary.
You can literally hide in your sanctuary. And
exactly.
If you wanted to avoid your doom, you could just sit in your sanctuary and not do anything.
Exactly. He could escape into his dreams, but is that really where the solutions are in your dreams? Sometimes you have to, pull them out into reality.
Yeah.
The problems with the sanctuary are it's difficult to access for anyone else because it's not their dream. And it is tied intricately to my doom. So obviously, if I confront my doom, my sanctuary will disappear because one way or the other, that dream is going to end.
Cool. Yeah. That's a pretty solid start.
Everyone has cool stuff.
You can have cool stuff too.
I know. No, I know. But I need to
You've
think.
got some Batman power. You've got some Taskmaster power.
Yeah, I need to. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I'm going to look at the questions now because I've picked my moves and my mentor.
I like what they did with Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because Taskmaster was always a bit of a naff villain, I thought. I mean, I'm an evil villain. Behold my white cape. It never really did it for me. And the skull face was always a bit over the top. But then having it be built into like the cybernetics and the helmet and some of the mimicry powers being linked to extensive processing computers input into the brain of the character made a lot more sense. It was a really up-to-date take on the way Taskmaster works. So yeah, you got a bit of that going on.
Yeah, no.
How are you a power mimic? Or are you just the kind of watched Batman Begins as well recently, and that fight when he first enters the League of Shadows temple on the top of the mountain and he starts fighting against Liam Neeson, and Liam Neeson just calls out all of his moves and then counters them. Panther style.
Well, I think it is superpowers. At least that's just how I've chosen to think it.
That's cool.
If I'm going through my questions, how did you first meet your mentor? I think what I'm trying to go for, based on the moves I picked as well, which we can do moves and stuff afterwards, is that they kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Signing autographs at a convention.
I wish. No, I think my character before becoming a protege was eager to take advantage of the ability to just copy other superheroes' powers and not necessarily do like crimes, but definitely.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, kind of.
You were a little bit cheeky with it, and then this other figure came along who could do it as well, and just kind of stood there.
Yeah, It's like, I'll copy your telepathy. Great. Well, I can kick your ass 7 shades of blue. So it doesn't really matter if you can read my mind while doing it, kind of thing.
Like you might have had super strength at the time and you were like, haha, I'm just going to rip your power off. Oh, crap, it's telepathy and now I don't have super strength.
Yeah, exactly. Something along those lines. And then it asks, when and why did you choose to train with them? And I think for them, it was a pride aspect, like the fact that it's like, oh, this fucker kicked my ass. I'm gonna become strong enough to beat them without using my power mimicry. And the reason I mention this is because, so I think about the mentor is you have a trait that you have a trait that they embody and one that they deny, because you're trying to copy them. Basically, you're trying to follow in their footsteps. So they embody superior, which is its own thing. We can talk about like the labels and stats and stuff. But the one that my character denies is freak, which is using the power mimicry. They don't like particularly using that because they want to basically like their mentor and just be really good at thinking and kicking ass without needing to use superpowers.
Yeah.
Why did they agree to train you? Is just, I presume, because they thought, this kid's got potential, so let's.
Or it could have been I can see what will happen in the future if this kid's left unchecked. They could very easily be on the other side.
Yeah, definitely. It's better you learn from me than, just screw around on your own. Who else outside of the team knows about your training? That's an interesting one. I should really have reread these before I started saying them out loud. I would imagine, I don't think he has a particularly close family because I don't think the behavior of screwing around with other people's powers would necessarily be from a good home life. But I'd have to think about that. But I don't imagine many people outside the team, perhaps anybody. Maybe if the mentor knows like other heroes, they are like, oh, you're wibbly wobblies.
Your kid, the one that follows you around.
Yeah. You're
What's
like
the
their
term for that?
intern. Yeah. And why do you care about the team? I don't know. Well, that's the one I'll say.
That's one to work out once we know what the team really is.
Yeah, exactly. But that's me done.
Cool. Jim, you all right?
Yeah, right. Okay. I was a normal kid who witnessed a murder, and I was took away by some mobsters, and they took me basically to the local car crush area, and I was put in the boot, and the crusher was crushing me, and as I started to be crushed, something triggered inside me, and basically I gained strength and size, bust out there, bust the crusher up, and now my name is Scrapyard.
Oh, that's so cool.
Love it.
So cool.
I love it as well. Like the mob created you, but they're like, "Oh Jesus, what the?"
And now I seek all organised crime families and things, a little bit like the Punisher.
And you hit them with rusty cars.
Yes. Yeah.
So cool. That would be an awkward thing to go back to your Dawn or like boss about. So you know that kid you wanted to kill? Yeah, did you kill him? Well,
define kill.
Wait, his old self is dead.
So do you still look normal, Jim, or are you more than?
No, I'm basically like the big kid at school, but I've like put on bulk, but it's not just muscly bulk, it's like fat bulk as well. So I'm just like the big sort of fat kid at school,
kind of like rocking the Big Daddy vibe.
Yeah,
call me absolutely. Fat and I'll pile drive you.
Absolutely. Shirley Crabtree.
Yeah.
In fact, I am going to be called Curly Crabtree.
Yeah.
I should probably come up with my not.
Because I have got
superhero.
curly hair. Yeah. Curtis Curly Crabtree. There you go.
Perfect. It's even got superhero alliteration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I need to come up with a name.
I thought with Scrapyard, it's got the scrap bit in it as well. So
Yeah.
because he likes a bit of a
That's
scrap. A bit
Likes a
of
bit of a
tear.
scrap, is quite scrappy.
I was going to choose Roid Rage because I got force fed a load of steroids, but no, I didn't go for that one.
I think Scrapyard is better.
Yes.
It's got that, what was it? It's Superman 3 or 4 where he's Clark Kent and they put him in the
Yeah,
scrapyard.
absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, my powers were sort of sleeping for the right time to come out. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they weren't supposed to manifest until adulthood.
Absolutely.
And then, boom, suddenly you're a young teen with insane strength and durability.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my costume is overalls. Yeah. Red
awesome.
overalls, and I've got like a badge on the front, like a name badge that says Scrapyard, and then on the back, I'll think of a what's that? What do we have on the back? I don't know. I'll think of something.
It's going to be tough choosing moves from the Bull move set. They're all so good.
Yeah. Quite. I mean, there's quite a lot of diversity with the moves in terms of what you're kind of wanting to go for.
Yeah, I've chosen my moves.
What
Well,
do you think about them?
How many moves you get? Two.
For the Bull,
two
you get
Begins on the playbook.
Yeah.
2 from the Bull moves selection, and then you get a roll from the Bull's heart.
Yeah, because the Bull has a love and a rival, and basically they are two players who. So the love is just a character that you get on really good terms with. It doesn't have to be romantic. It just be like they're like your best friend, and your rival is somebody who you have I guess you could say antagonistic. Like it's still civil, but it's like
It's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah, friendly rivalry. And then you get
Cyclops and Wolverine.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, yeah. And then you get a move for each of them which has a criteria, and if you fulfill it then you get some kind of bonus for doing that. Hopefully I've explained that well. I need to I think I'm going to go for Ricky Fletcher for my not superhero name, but nobody calls him that, and he's definitely not told any of you guys that. Super embarrassed. I need to come up with his hero name. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. I'll call him Makeshift.
Right.
There we go.
That was an interesting thing about the Aberrant setting, the White Wolf superhero game. They had the whole PR side of it really well thought out. So they'd thought about celebrity superheroes and how that would influence things, and things like name companies. So there was a company where you could register super names.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to be a superhero called something, you had to check against the registry to see if there was already someone called that. So you ended up with superheroes with ridiculous names like Mephistopheles, only he'd spelt it wrong. So there was no copyright issues.
infringements. Yep.
Yeah.
And they had
Yeah,
this
that was
whole
a great game.
superhero
Like,
name
letter.
copyright thing. And you really thought about this in a lot of depth.
Yeah,
I liked all three of the
numbers
Trinity
and-
games. The Pulp Adventure one, the Aeon Trinity, the Future when they were psychics, and Aberrant. They were all good.
I read the very first edition of the Aeon Trinity book, A flatmate of mine had it, and then I bought the aberrant ones. Never really got into the pulp thing because I wasn't a big fan of the sort of 1920s era. It's kind of grown on me as I've got a bit older. Still don't like jazz, though.
That's okay.
Hey,
Nice. I blame Star Trek for me not liking jazz, though.
Oh,
It's
well,
like,
Will Riker's jazz.
You've got
would kill anyone.
centuries to pick from. Why is it always jazz?
I've gone for Punch Everyone and In a China Shop.
Oh, those are good ones.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
In a China Shop is brilliant.
I should say, so the moves I went with are venting frustration, so fireside chat, which is, Ben, what you were talking about, where I can ask my mentor like for something, and be mindful of your surroundings, which is, the thing is, like, I don't know how to describe them without describing how the labels and all that stuff works, because they're just a smidgen different from Monster of the Week, so I feel like,
Well, that's okay.
I don't know.
Well, let's take a look at the labels then. So there are 5 labels that you start with. At character creation, everybody gets a set label, and then you can add one wherever you choose. So, Jim, for instance, you start with +2 danger, +1 freak, -1 savior, +1 superior, and -1 mundane. So you could then add +1 to any one of those. So if you wanted to take one of the -1s up to 0, you could. If you want to take one of the +1s up to +2, you could. And if you wanted to take the +2 up to +3, you could. Danger is what you roll when you're doing something dangerous, frankly. Freak is your superpowers.
Yes.
Savior is if you're trying to be a hero and save someone from who's in danger. Superior is when you're proving that you're better than someone. And mundane is when you're doing something ordinary. So your superpowers arguably could be used against any of them. You might roll against freak when fighting. You might also roll against superior when fighting if you're trying to prove that you're a better combatant than someone. And then those numbers can also change depending on how people interact with you.
Okay. I'm going to go for danger +3
Yeah.
because I'm not going to fight with my fists. I'm going to fight with brick walls and things and cars and
Danger is
light.
my middle name.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to increase my superior to 3 as well. Well,
Ooh.
like, because, yeah.
Check you out, Robin.
Right, I should just... Might have to change what my mentor embodies, though. I'm not too sure. I guess it makes sense that they would also be very good at superior. Okay, that's fine then.
I'm going to take, so my stat line is danger +1, freak +1, savior +1, superior -1, and mundane 0. And I'm taking my savior to +2 because I think that fits with the whole fact that his entire purpose is to be a prison for an evil force. So saving people is kind of what he's built for.
Yeah, that tracks.
What are you going for, Leon? You get to pick one to improve.
Because
You
one
know
to
the
improve by
bull's
one.
heart you're on about, Ben?
Yeah.
What do I do? I'll roll on that.
So for Bull's Heart, you... Let me double check, make sure I've got it right. In the Bull's Heart, you pick one love and one rival from the other 3 players. Love doesn't have to be romantic. It can be someone you look up to, someone you admire, someone who you want to protect. And for your love, you pick one of the 4 powers. Defender, friend, listener, or enabler.
So I
And
have
then-
to choose a love and a rival in the group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my rival's got to be Leon because he's another muscly sort of fighting person. Without a doubt, there's got to be a competition going on there.
Yeah.
Bit of a Legolas, Gimli.
Yeah,
sort of
absolutely. So, for example,
Um,
if you picked him as your rival and you took Defender, every time you sort of jumped in the way to stop him getting hurt so that you could rub it in his face that you took the hit and he didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's got to be it, innit? I'm gonna take defender.
Yeah, and then you
And
pick
then-
someone else who is the person that you look up to or are friends with.
Yeah.
Or have a crush on or are in love with. These are all fine.
Oh, I should note though, Jim, you're allowed to change them at any time. That's
Okay.
another thing about this. So they're not permanent for the rest of eternity. You're allowed to change them freely. I presume, like, not midway through a fight, because that would get confusing. But
I love you. Now I love you. Now I love you.
Yeah, yeah. I have actually met GMs that were cool with that, but I was like, yeah, no, that's just gonna.
No, I think
End up with
if there's
one.
a story narrative reason for it
Yeah, that's the
happening over
purpose.
time, you were my rival, but I've shown you up so many times that it's not even a challenge anymore. Now
Yeah.
my rival is that guy because he can jump
Mm-hmm.
over buildings.
Oof, that'd be terrible to you, wouldn't it? Yeah, you're not my rival anymore. You've let yourself go.
You just, it's not even
I'm
worth
good.
the effort any longer. You're just so pathetic.
I'm going to be
Superman.
friends with Aaron's character, and I'm going to be an enabler.
Okay.
Go
Fantastic.
on. Go on. Do
Yeah,
it.
it's-
Use the superpower.
Yeah, you basically just provoke Aaron to do stuff.
Monkey. Do it.
Go on, summon the gremlins at him. That'll show him. Kind of like the
Summon a bigger
darkness
demon.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
you're
a small
afraid of your
demon, a big
gran.
demon. Summon them.
Little devil on my shoulder.
Awesome. I think it's only the bull out of us that has a specific thing like that where we have to pick someone. But I think the doomed and the rest don't have that, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, I think
Oh,
you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The Doomed has a whole different set of
Doom
things because
stuff,
they
yeah.
have their nemesis.
Yeah, the Doom doesn't get like moves like the normal playbooks do. I get I track against my Doom, and then at a certain point, I get Doom signs or special
what-
abilities. I can
So-
use.
Oh yeah, you need to pick Doom signs as
Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
up the Doom track, don't you? So,
So-
you don't
yeah,
start
so-
with them.
No, and every time you use one of your Doom signs, you click another box of Doom. So I mean, the more you use your Doom abilities, the faster you are going to meet your Doom. So it's the beautiful, horrible,
If people
Double-edged
remember with Monster of the Week how we talked about luck, I think we talked about in Lewis's game, where the more luck you use, the closer you get, and the more the universe wants to fuck you over. Well, that's basically the Doom, but they have less to spend.
Yeah.
And it gets worse a lot quicker.
One of the nice things though about the advances for the Doomed is like you can buy back one of your Doom signs. 'Cause
Yes.
You have to get all the Doom signs before you're forced to meet your Doom on your Doom's terms.
Yeah.
Which means you die. But
Well, I think that's the other thing that's really great about this game is that it's not like it. I think I was talking with this. I was talking with you, Aaron and Ben, yesterday, where it's like the game doesn't want you to have this character in perpetuity for the end of time. It encourages you to move on with them.
Yeah, age them up,
with its-
retire them from play, turn
Yeah.
them into a background character, start again. Yeah.
And to be clear, and the best part is it's determined by your action with the game, because all Powered by the Apocalypse systems, the way you get experience is by failing. So theoretically, you could prolong a character's shelf life by only attempting things you're good at and never trying something you're bad at. But
where's the
it's
fun in
all
that?
about- exactly, yeah, it's all that kind of stuff. But that's the core concept, at least, which is why I like these games.
Yeah, let's face it, a bunch of teenage superheroes, we're gonna fail a lot. That's
Oh yeah,
that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
it's the take, isn't it? When you look at how they play things in Teen Titans and Young Justice, those kids screw up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a part of the learning process, isn't it?
Exactly.
yeah.
I
I need to.
increased my danger. Sorry, no.
Oh no, sorry, it's okay.
Oh, what
I just-
transformed moves did you go for?
So
Leon,
I
you
went
get
for
3.
I get 2. Oh, 3. I get
Yeah,
a
you
third
get
one.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've only got 2 so far. So I've got Be the Monster. When you frighten, intimidate, or cow others with your monstrous form, roll plus freak. And then it can go horribly wrong.
And you have full freak, which is
I
the
do,
best
plus
part.
3
Yeah,
freak.
without even having to spend anything.
And I got Not Human Enough. When you directly engage a threat in a terrifying fashion, mark a condition to choose an additional option, even on a miss.
Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Always effective as long as you take a condition. It's
That's
fantastic.
like you charge at them, you miss, but you choose to have the tree that you crash into fall on them instead, kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So this is one I was choosing between that one and this other one, especially after Scrapyard said that I'm his rival. So I'm going to go with Unstoppable. When you smash your way through scenery to get to or away from something, roll plus danger. On a hit,
Oh
the
my
world
goodness, everything's
breaks.
just going to get wrecked.
yeah, we're gonna destroy. And
that
I think
plus the
actually-
China shop from the bull, they're a messy, messy combo.
Wait, I need to see what because we each get when we kind of form the scenario that brought us together as a team, we get a question to ask, and I think one of them is how did we destroy? But I don't think that's us. I think that's another playbook.
Yeah, that's the Nova.
Yeah,
We
Nova's
destroyed
like,
our surroundings.
who's pissed at us because of it?
Oh, I want it to be the mayor, and we destroyed the mayor's car. This amazing
yeah.
classic car.
Yeah, because
So we're not on good terms with the city.
Oh yeah. Yours is we drew attention and ire from plenty during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears us. Who is it?
Right, I've just got to step
We-
away for a second. I'll be back momentarily.
We had a
Turns
fight
out.
in the mayor's back garden and ruined his flower bed. Yes.
I don't know
Smashed his
why.
fence down.
I just imagine it's somebody who has like a really bad like toupee that was like kind of coming off. Maybe what are you doing to my flower garden? I'm sorry.
It
I just
probably
feel I already feel sorry for Aaron and you because you're just going to be dodging bricks.
Oh yeah, I didn't say this. My danger is -1. I'm really not good at like put him up.
Now he's like the Doomed is very average on everything. Nothing really high, nothing really low.
Yeah.
But that's good because that gives you a lot of opportunities to screw things up, and that's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my question for when our team first came together is we paid a high cost for victory. What was it? Other than destroying the mayor's car and knocking his toupee off his head.
my one. Oh wait, I think no, you already read my one, didn't you? When our team first came together, we drew attention and ire from plenty during the fight. One
Yeah.
important person
Well,
in
I mean-
particular now hates and fears us.
Yeah. Well, I thought that's what you were going with because at least the way that I've always been shown to do it is you let the person who has the question come up with the answer and it's kind of a group collaborative thing. That's what I thought you were doing. I apologize if that
Oh
wasn't
no, I
intention.
I hadn't even read those bits, but yeah, no,
Oh,
I just thought it'd be funny if this is
No, yeah, that-
who we've annoyed. Yeah, I
Oh,
just thought they'd
okay.
do this poor mayor, and then if people start looking into the car and realizing that maybe there's a bit of corruption in City Hall, and that's how he got the car in the first place. So,
It's just like my flower bed and my tax revenue. I mean, what? No, I pay tax. So just bury these.
especially with the ball
The
ripping
mayor-
out like
the
traffic
mayor did
lights
that
all the
much
time.
specifically that he had a statue erected of him, yeah, which Scrapyard picked up as a weapon to fight a friendly fight with what's your character called?
The skink or jet rink, so just jet or the skink.
Skink, yeah. Excellent.
Threw a statue at me.
The skink was using a tree while I was using a statue in a lightsaber duel.
I'm trying to remember what my question is when our team first came together. Mine is we stuck together after all was said and done. Why? How do we keep in contact? Well, I have a base, so I guess we could hang out there. Yeah.
We could have met in detention after school.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you destroyed the mayor's beloved statue.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Well, we're sorry.
Skink punched me through the headmaster's wall.
We're really sorry that we tore apart the flower beds and the wall and the power grid. Wait, that was you guys? I mean, what? No, that was the villains.
I think for my question, we paid a high price for victory. What was it? I think that the ritual to bind Granny Longlegs into his soul was done perfectly, as long as he never tried to access the nightmare powers that he had. But he saw you guys getting in trouble, and he manifested his powers, and that basically woke her up in her prison, and now she's struggling to get out.
Okay, cool. Well, I was gonna say for my one, how do we keep in contact? I like the idea that my character is kind of picked up their mentor's trait of constantly bothering people, because telepathy, so no privacy. So like you guys were like, nah, we're not really feeling the team, and my character was like, yeah, no, we need to make a team. Like, no.
So kind of like Robin from Teen Titans.
Yeah. We got to make a team. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right, what have you got so far? So the bull, we defeated a dangerous enemy. Who or what was it?
Oh.
So the first time you came together as a team,
we were fighting something.
What do we all like?
That's a good point. Let's do this properly. Come on, Crossley, stop getting ahead of yourself. Right.
Don't tell Ben that we all just did these questions. We were
riffing, you know.
Yeah, no, I know. I
to
just
throw
imagine...
one in. Sorry, one of my relationships is someone knew me before I changed.
Well, I was saying it's
Just
like when the
add into
teacher
the-
leaves, we're all sharing our books, like writing down each other's answers.
So we got through the playbooks. We've had a look at the descriptions. Got your playbooks. Made some decisions. Got names, looks, abilities. So we know what Aaron looks like, and we know what Jim looks like, and we know what Leon looks like, but we don't really know what Nye looks like. What does Makeshift look like?
So Makeshift is quite on the scrawny side. I like that the description says lean, and I'm like, scrawny. Wears a kind of outfit similar to their mentor, and I imagine their mentor wears like the big cape with the big hood that covers most of their face. I like to imagine though that Makeshift though kind of wears the hood not totally covering it, so it just kind of comes like to here, and you can like, yes, I am mysterious. We can see your face, Makeshift. Shit, fucking
Makeshift. It's supposed to be a cape, not a hoodie.
It looks very much like their mentor's garb. And probably why people confuse him more as like somebody who's trying to like imitate them rather than like, no, I am actually their protege. Really?
We're going to have to find out who your mentor is at some point. They're a great detective and a telepath.
With telepath. I don't know.
They're really a great detective, or are they just cheating if they're a telepath?
Well, I mean, there's other stuff.
It's a tool. A tool of
telepathy, super senses, these combo powers.
Yeah. I don't think it needs to go too much into them, because that's the other thing about this game is that while there are adult superheroes, you rarely like.
They're all like at work and going to meetings and.
Yeah, boring adult shit. Yeah.
Discussing like global affairs when they should be out punching criminals. It's like, fine, let the kids punch the criminals.
Or, the classic, the Justice League is out in outer space right now, and that's why the Teen Titans have it. It's like, yeah, of course.
They're always in outer space. What's in outer space? They're like currently fighting a giant tentacle demon. It's like, oh, fucking...
Oh, that, yeah.
Well, last week Superman left Earth, didn't he? Turned around to John Kent and went, I'm off. And John Kent says, but the world needs Superman. And he says, they've got one. And then Clark Kent naffs off and leaves John Kent in charge as Superman.
Is it me? Oh no, it's not.
It is me.
Awkward.
Rust's got relationships. So he told Makeshift all about his doom and the danger I'm in. And I think it's because Makeshift reached out and was talking to him telepathically about the team and maybe got a little glimpse of something. So then he decided to open up to Makeshift and explain things to him.
Cool.
That definitely sounds like something Makeshift would do, though. I'm just going to peek in your brain. Ow!
That's ugly.
Oh, my bad.
Let me
So
explain. Yes, there's an old woman trapped in my soul, but she's not really what she appears. And you'd love to kiss someone before your doom comes, and this person is going to be Annie Harker, who you haven't met in this game. You would have met yesterday as the babysitter for the other Rust brothers, but you're going to meet her in this game. And if we ever play Monster of the Week again, you'll meet her there too.
A metaverse.
Yes, I have two relationship ones. You and Blank teamed up a few times before the rest of you came together. I think I probably would have teamed up with Skink a few times. I imagine that, I don't know, maybe it's because I just know Leon, but I don't imagine Skink's going to be a very standoffish character. So I just imagine it's like, hi, and Skink's like, oh, hi. Do you want to fight crime? Yeah.
That'd be nice. Want to do my part?
Yeah.
It's only Scrapyard that encourages me to get out to mischief.
I kind of like the idea that Leon's character would be there going, I'm a giant lizard man. Does that not freak you out? And I'd be like, mate, the shit I've seen.
Yeah. And the other one I have is... Oh, sorry.
Go, sorry.
I was just going to say, the other one is your mentor is cautious. They asked you to keep an eye on, and I'm going to go with Scrapyard. And I feel that that's a self-explanatory.
So the dangerous enemy that we defeated was a hero who wears, he's not a hero, he's a villain, who wears a 6-gallon hat, and he gains power by the more donuts he eats. And he's called Chow Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and we defeated him.
You defeated Chow Boy.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
that's right.
Yes. That would be... I love the idea of it's just like you haven't seen my true power. No.
Well, it's just like the Hulk. You know, he gets stronger the angrier he gets. Chow Boy gets more powerful the more donuts he eats. I mean, it's fair.
It's fine. Oh my god, he's near a Krispy Kreme.
Stop him before he goes into Mr. Donut.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think if everyone's all right with that, I quite like the why we stuck together is just because Makeshift really wants to have a superhero team, and I think it's because his mentor also is part of a superhero team, and he's just a little bit like, I mean, I just think it'd be cool, you know. And
well, there are super teams. You know, other people have these cool superhero gangs.
Yeah.
Why can't we have one?
Yeah.
So you defeated
exactly.
a dangerous enemy who was Chow Boy, the donut-eating villain.
Yeehaw!
Aaron, you paid a high cost for victory. What was it?
Yeah. So what happened was he came upon this scene of Scrapyard and the Skink and Makeshift fighting Chow Boy, and Chow Boy was getting the upper hand because he had literally just cleaned out a donut shop. And before this point, Rust had never manifested any of his powers. The ritual that kept Granny Longlegs trapped in his soul had been done perfectly, and as long as he didn't disturb it, she would have slept forever in there. But he accessed his nightmare powers through her, and that woke her up. So the price he paid is now she's aware and she's trying to get out.
That's a pretty heavy price. So that's woke up Granny. Do. Leon, We drew attention and ire from plenty during the fight. One important person in particular now hates and fears us. Who is it?
The mayor.
Yeah.
Because Scrapyard, picked up the mayor's car and tossed it to me to 1-2 Chow Boy.
I think we've picked up most of the mayor's possessions, which I quite like. I do like
just unlucky bystander in all of our nature fights.
I do like the idea though that Scrapyard's like, "Hey, Skin, catch! Oh what? Oh shit! Oh no!"
And then, Nye, you stuck together after all was said and done, and that's why, because you desperately wanted to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you pestered them to stay in touch.
Yeah. Telepathically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think telepathy is probably the power that he holds on, that he's not copied from someone else. Because he's definitely just like, hey, we should fight crime today. Oh, Christ.
I think we were at a motel and Scrapyard pulled down a wall, and on the other side of the wall was the mayor having an affair.
You kids!
Can't talk now, mayor, having a fight.
Those meddling kids. I would have gotten away with my affair if it hadn't been for those meddling kids.
And I have mentors resources, which is probably why you guys put up with Makeshift constantly asking to form.
So you provide them with the hideout.
Yeah. So because I get to pick 3 resources. So I went with Hidden Base. I'm not too fussed about the others though. So if it's okay, I can read them out, and if anyone thinks they sound cool. So a vehicle, a supercomputer, communicators, surveillance equipment, false identities, badges of authority, a chem lab, a meds lab, a teleportal, which is how it's said, which is an interesting word, a weapon of last resort, security systems, or simple robots.
You think I'm a lizard person? What is that false identity going to be like?
I also, if I had them,
here's my identity. Here's my certificate proving I have a skin condition.
Yeah, I'd also want to ask my mentor why they have badges of authority and false identities.
Pete's chipping in with you need a weapon of last resort.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a fun thing we can.
Yeah.
I think we don't need communicators if
we got telepathy.
Yeah. And I agree, actually, Leon. False identities would be a little bit unfair for everyone but you. This is he's from
He's a lizard guy.
This is our friend in a Hollywood movie practical effects workshop. He's come straight from work.
How pissed off would you be though if it's like somebody before is like a full Minotaur, but it's like they flash a badge and they get to go through, and you're like, oh come on, you let that guy through.
Maybe either like a supercomputer to help us with our investigations, or a vehicle. I mean, it's always nice to be able to.
Yeah, I mean, none of you have got any
nice.
super transport abilities.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, a vehicle.
Unless you count Leon and Jim throwing you places.
No, I can use my...
that's true. You can disappear into your dreams and then pop out somewhere else.
Well, that and I can use psychic constructs, so I could pull a motorcycle out of nightmares or something, a la Ghost Rider or something like that.
Pretty cool.
But a vehicle is always handy. You got a team vehicle.
Needs a lot of room for my tail.
Yeah, well, I'll think of a vehicle. I imagine it would just end up being the Fantastic Four's thing, where it's like it's whatever vehicle you need it to be, basically. Mm-hmm. And the weapon of last resort. I like the idea that the weapon of last resort is ambiguous. My mentor was like, so here's the base. You have free run. Don't press that button though. Oh, okay, it's a weapon of last resort. What does it do? You don't need to know. It's a weapon of last resort. That's self-explanatory. I'm just like, ooh.
When I went away to university, I was going to be on my own. My parents were going back overseas. And I was in London, where my dad had some family. And they were, a few of them, a little bit dodgy maybe. And after everyone had left, my dad comes back into the room and he does this sort of quietly, all right, son, watch out. And he hands me this little folded up scrap of paper and he says, if you ever get in real trouble, you call your uncle. He'll sort it out. Like, Dad, why have you come over all East End all of a sudden? And he was like, just don't phone it unless you have to. Okay. And I got, there's that feeling that I'm not going to call this number ever.
I'm now just looking at whatever Jim's put in the chat.
It's a picture of our enemy that we
Of
defeated.
Cowboy. Yeah.
Cowboy.
I want to see this. Is that how Cowboy powers up? Just
Yeah. He's normally a 6-stone weakling, but
Yeah.
he eats that many donuts that he powers up. Yeah.
for context for the viewers, it's kind of one of those inflatable suits that's like a Texan, the Texan flag with like a gallon hat.
I'm glad you explained that because my computer is refusing to open it.
It's
So
just that crap, to be honest.
It's like, no, I'm not doing it.
I think.
So for
we-
influence,
Yeah.
I give influence to 2 of my teammates. So I believe that's going to be makeshift because you already know my true secret. So
Mhm.
that makes sense that you would have influence over me. And scrapyard because we've sort of bonded a bit, and because of that, you definitely, and you're already part of your power is to manipulate me anyway. So of course you would have influence over me. So
So for context for the viewers, influence is what Ben was referring to when they were saying that your stats can be affected by others. So within the context of the setting, because we're teenagers and we feel bonded with each other, how they perceive us and we perceive them matters to us, and therefore mechanically we get a +1 to all moves that are targeting them, including if they say no, I don't want you to be influencing me. And the really fun mechanic is that all adults just automatically get influence when we first meet them because we're teenagers.
Yep.
And
Oh,
all
no,
adults,
grown up.
yeah, not villains, of course. Though that would be shit. But
No, if they've got a purple and black outfit on, no influence for you.
And if you choose to allow that person to influence you, you get a various amount of
So,
things.
Nye, have you done your relationships?
Yes. So as I said, I teamed up with Skink a couple of times before the fight with Cowboy, and my mentor gave particular note to be cautious of Scrapyard.
That's
and as
right.
I said, both of them are fairly self-explanatory. I imagine.
And
to go
Aaron,
into
you've done
depth-
yours. What about your influence, Nye? Who do you give or gain
Well,
influence?
it's interesting because I can choose. So it's based on my demeanor. And I wonder, let's see if you guys can pick which one I'm going to go for. So if I go for playful, I get to give influence to 2 teammates. If I go with business, I give influence to no teammates. Which is basically like the 2 Robin archetypes. Are you the really straight-laced one that's like, no, or are you the one that's like, yay, we're superheroes? So I'll be going for playful. I imagine the 2 people that I'd be influencing would probably be, I don't know, actually. Probably, well, yeah, I think probably then...
Well, it's you giving influence, isn't it? It's not you claiming it.
You know what I mean.
So who can influence you?
Yeah. Well, that's what... Yeah, apologies, I buggered up my words.
It worked that way, so we would influence them. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the people that I'm allowing to influence me. That's why business is nobody, because you're all work and no play. Probably Skink, because I said the team ups before probably got a good rapport there, and probably Rust would be the second one again because we have that peeking into each other's minds kind of thing.
Okie dokie. Leon, what about you?
In my relationships,
You've got someone comforted you when you were at your lowest and someone knew you before you changed.
Yeah, so if it comforted me at my lowest, I was going to go with Rust because I'm going to be sometimes all boo-hoo-hoo. I'm a horrible monster on the outside, and Rust is like kind of a monster on the inside.
I see that.
So it's like, know where you're coming from.
I see where you're coming from.
And I figure makeshift makes sense for the one for Numi before I changed, as we teamed up before anyway. So maybe you visited me in hospital as like when the superhero does the rounds. Like,
well,
hey,
I like the idea.
look who's here today.
I now like the
The
idea
person you
that
think it
it's
is
like,
is his protege.
yeah. Well, I love the idea that it's like that you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? I look like this. It's like you can become a superhero, man, and it's like, really? I don't know. That sounds dangerous. No, you're like huge, and you're like lizard.
My team.
Yeah.
I just got this mental image of like Gotham General Hospital now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, kids, we got an extra special visitor today. They're like, Batman! Like, it's Robin.
Oh. Well, it's even worse because like it's Batman. It's like, oh, wait a minute, Batman doesn't Batman have a bigger cape? No, I'm Batman. Yeah. I think could I call my mentor Mind Meld?
Yep, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
What about your influence, Leon? Who are you going to let have influence on you?
Yes, so mine is you try not to care what other people think, even if you can't shut everyone out. Give influence to one teammate. So this is someone who influences me.
Yes. Who's the one that you can
Someone who
fight
can
in?
push you to do stuff or
Yeah.
inspire you or something like that.
I think it's probably going to be Scrapyard. I think with the competitiveness there all the time. So I think that's going to be what actually.
Yeah, you guys come across as the younger two of the heroes, almost.
What? Yeah.
Definitely the most immature.
Just
I get giddy around scrapyards.
passing the mayor's car between each other. Like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to think if there's anything. I guess
then the bull. We already did the special relationships, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you get your bestie and your rival.
Yep.
Is there anything else on the
Probably
bull?
should mention conditions because they're a big because they're part of the influence, but they're also just like they're not things we set. They're
Yeah, so there are conditions that you can take whenever something happens to you, some kind of damage or injury or effect happens on you. You can be subject to a condition. And there are 5 conditions. Afraid, which makes it harder for you to directly engage a threat. Angry, which makes it harder for you to comfort people or support them or pierce the mask, which we'll come to in a bit. Guilty, which makes it harder for you to provoke someone or assess the situation. Hopeless, which makes it harder for you to unleash your powers. And insecure, which makes it harder for you to defend someone or reject the influence of others. Excuse me. So, for instance, when Chowboy punches one of you, he inflicts a condition on you as well as physical damage. So the condition he inflicts upon Scrapyard might be angry. You're like, right, no, that's pissed me off. You've punched me one too many times. I'm angry now. While it doesn't affect your ability to fight him, it then affects your ability to calm down afterwards and like deal with the emotional outpouring. Whereas if he punches someone else, they might become afraid of him, and therefore it's harder to fight him then and there. Afterwards, they're completely able to pick up the pieces again. So it depends on what conditions affect you when and why.
It's also how you can be influenced by other players. So maybe a player is trying to influence you, and because you choose not to do it, you become angry because they've just gone to you like, hey, you should punch that guy. It's like, no, I don't want to punch this guy. What the fuck's wrong with you? Or you're afraid because they said, etc., etc.
I don't want to punch that guy. He's too strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can choose to go with influence or you can reject it. If you go with the influence, great, you roll with it. You get something for that, don't you?
To remind myself,
The
'cause
GM
there's a lot.
can change your
Oh,
labels.
yeah, that's right. Your labels can go up and down, so you might get more superior or more dangerous if you let someone influence you.
Yeah, like somebody says, hey, you've got to go up there and punch him. The GM may bump up your danger and drop your savior by 1, and you go in and go toe to toe.
And if you reject that influence, that's when you potentially take a condition.
Yeah, you got to roll, and then depending on what you roll, depends on what happens to you when you reject it.
And it's not a punishment. Like, it's not like the game's going, you should have done what they said. It's the game giving you the alternative, because it's
Yeah, it's a storyline alternative to just going with it. So no, I'm not going to go with it. Instead, it's going to affect me in this way. So it's like a mechanical way of explaining how you feel afterwards.
Mm-hmm. That I've just remembered the other thing is that there's team moves as well, Ben. There's like everyone has a unique thing, because another thing is how we all come together and do stuff. So I think everyone has, I want to say 2, but I could be off with that. And it's on like the one that has your characters. It's the first page of your playbook, yeah. But I think it's to do with like, yeah. So
I'm looking at the main rule book.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So like for my one, it says, oh, have I gone past it? I have gone past it because I'm terrible. So my one is, when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, ask them if you've been a good leader or effective teammate. If they say yes, your mentor loses influence over you and you mark potential. So you get an experience point. If they say no, your mentor gains influence over you and you take +1 forward on using the label your mentor embodies. So again, it's not a punishment if the player says yes or no, it's just a different outcome. And then my second one is, when you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, tell them a secret about your mentor, including your feelings towards them, give them influence over you, and add a team to the pool. Team. Well, I have to remind myself.
Yeah, team is like momentum, isn't it?
Yeah.
2K20 games, you throw it into a pool and then other people can spend it to do stuff.
Yep. So my team moves are, when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, give them influence over you, and spend 1 team from the pool to clear 1 box on your doom track. So if we still had points in the team pool, I could help, stave
off, put off your inevitable demise.
Longer. And then my second one is, when you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, give them influence over you and ask if they honestly think there's hope for you. If they say yes, mark potential or clear 1 box of your doom track. If they say no, mark a condition or mark your doom track. So that one's a little rougher. but
yeah.
But everything about the doom is a bit rough.
Doom. Yeah. I mean, it's a slippery slope and broken glass all the way down to hell. So,
Jim, what about you? What have you got for your team moves?
So I've got, when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, ask them if they think you're cool. If they say yes, give them influence and take influence over them. If they say no, mark a condition or spurn them immediately. If they are a teammate, then either way, add a team to the pool.
So you've actually got a good way there of like mixing team in and out of the pool in the celebration.
And the vulnerability, when you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, give them influence over you and ask them who they'd like you to be. Mark potential if you show them that person. If they're a teammate, add a team to the pool no matter what.
Leon, what about you?
One of the interesting things...
Oh, carry on, Aaron, sorry.
I was just going to say really quick, one of the interesting things about having influence over a teammate, if you would gain influence over them again, like if you already have influence, but because of one of your team moves, you would gain it a second time, you immediately shift one of their labels up and one of their labels down, your choice. So that's showing the additional influence you're having over their development.
And that's probably the biggest shift that differentiates this from Monster of the Week, aside from all the other stuff we've mentioned, is that the stats, rather than being static things that you can occasionally make bigger, this is more of like what they call like a slide bar. So it's you're purposely going up and down on your stats throughout the character's progression, and there's not like, it's very rare for them to stay static, although you will have, like, for example, like Leon as a transformed is very good at freak, and it's unlikely that that's gonna like go all the way down to the lowest anytime
I'll
soon.
be human.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, if we put it down, maybe that's you becoming, more human. I don't know what your advancements are. Maybe you can.
Just a more rubbish lizard.
Oh no, I'm a gecko now.
My tail falls off. I'm
Oh,
kind
no.
of more human, but I keep falling over.
Yeah.
What about
Sharp
your
points.
victory and vulnerability moves, Leon?
So my team moves. When you share a triumphant celebration with someone, clear one condition if they treat you like a perfectly normal person, and mark potential if they praise your power or abilities. When you share a vulnerability or weakness with someone, ask them if they think you're losing or gaining humanity. If they say losing, mark a condition and mark potential. If they say gaining, clear a condition and shift mundane up and any other label down. Yeah,
So it does sound like if your mundane goes up over your freak, you start to become more human-like in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
And-
yeah, I think all society accepts me as more human than
Well,
monstrous.
mundane's your ability, like mechanically, what you use it for basic moves is your ability to like remember. Oh shit, yeah, like people don't punch dinosaurs every Tuesday, like, and it's your ability to empathize on like, oh yeah, shit.
Eddie Brock
This
in
is
the
not
lobster
normal.
tank. This isn't
Yeah.
right.
It's either
Yeah,
you're seeing you can see into somebody's soul, like with pierce a mask, or you're comforting in, supporting them, reducing
Exactly,
their
yeah.
conditions with mundane.
Oh, in my head, I can just think you seen Men in Black with Vincent D'Onofrio. I was pronounced his name wrong, but he's the cockroach inside the human suit, and he's like trying to walk down the street normally. And he like
Edgar.
gives a wave to someone as he goes. He's trying to figure out how humans walk.
Yeah.
Give some sugar.
Yeah, it's low mundane.
I like the idea that you're just like, okay, you just like are trying to hide your tail somewhere. You're like, fuck it.
So there we go. We've got a new super team
Yeah.
on the streets of Halcyon City.
Oh, that's the thing. What's our team name?
Oh no!
That could be something you're still arguing about.
Yeah. Makeshift keeps insisting on calling it like, oh, we're the Wonder League. It's like that sounds a lot similar to your mentor's league. No, it's totally different.
We're the makeshift massive. No, we're not being named after you.
Oh yeah, he's super egotistical.
The mayor just refers to us as them.
The menace.
The
Scrapyard
carnage
is like we're
the
the scrappers. Scrapyard and the scrappers.
It makes it really difficult for people to like write down what happens. The scrappers, makeshifts, maniacs, the menace, them. Just like 20 names.
Is that a reporter coming up to you? So what are you called this week?
It's like, well,
You took a
took a
vote. Oh, that's
poll.
good. Yeah. But we disagreed afterwards.
We're still
We're like,
focus grouping it.
Yeah. Plus, we don't know who Makeshift's gonna insist joins the team.
we're under the impression that Makeshift's mentor is getting us a publicist. I think after that person is hired, we'll know who we are.
Optimistic called the Makeshift 7 because we're still expecting more people to join.
Yeah, they've been talking about getting this publicist for like 8 weeks now. They must be taking a while to get them. Yeah, sure. I'll get you a publicist. Fucking hell.
All right, so we've got Scrapyard, the Bull, super strong, super tough, probably the youngest team member, certainly the least mature. Gained his powers from being thrown in a car crusher by mobsters and now enjoys punching crime. Very good at breaking stuff. Also in the breaking stuff sphere, we've got Jet the Skink Rink, a transformed former normal human boy. I'm a real boy. Now a grotesque parody of a man-lizard monster machine with the fabulous abilities of super strength and super senses. Is that all of your senses, or is one of them better than the others? Do you taste the air, or...
Oh, yeah, tasting the air is good. I feel like reptiles aren't known for having particularly good hearing, so I'm guessing hearing's pretty normal. That's just pretty standard.
Fair, but
human.
independently tracking eyes is always the thing.
Yeah.
Just I love
That
the
low
idea
light
that-
vision. When I go underwater, I get like a film comes over my eye, so I can
On
see.
the amphibian, I think skinks have that those sensors along their body like a shark does that picks up electromagnetic radiation.
Oh,
There you go.
That's
So you
good,
have
yeah,
got
'cause
super senses. You've got senses beyond the usual set, so you can detect changes in the environment and stuff as well as your super strength, which lets you smash stuff.
Just like they do, the skink reads that part that Ben read out. It's like a twisted abomination of what is once human, and he's just like, oh. Where else
The
do I
immature
come to?
scrapyard plays with skink super senses by farting. Super sense that taste that.
oh.
Skinks walking around unable to talk or stick his tongue out because Scrapyard's farted in the base.
Eat the room.
Who eats cheese whiz by the pot? Now we got Rasputin Rust. Super strength, super speed, the ability to create nightmare constructs that can drain the vitality from his foes. But
He's a really nice guy.
in so doing, dooms him to an evil spirit entity breaking free from the prison in his soul.
Do actually these constructs, are they rustic?
They would probably rusty, yeah.
Oh,
And decrepit looking, jagged, horrible weapons.
so basically, when we were fighting Chowboy, you made his sheriff's badge rusty, didn't you?
Exactly.
Do you have kind of a mechanic-y thing going on? Scrapyard, Rust, and Makeshift, and I guess Jet. I know that's your normal name.
The
but
lizard that
still.
lives in the scrapyard, I guess.
Really good at picking up heavy things and putting them down again.
Yeah.
And finally, the leader of this team, the mighty and impressive protege of Mind Meld, Makeshift, with the fabulous powers of detective skills and power mimic, and currently telepathy. But he loses it every time he tries to steal someone else's and then has to get it back by going and visiting his mentor. And
definitely.
so what? Thought I'd come and visit. You've lost telepathy, didn't you? How did you know? I didn't.
Make that
Shift
face.
Marvels.
No, he lost those. And who knows what other fabulous heroes will join Makeshift's team over the coming days and weeks. But I think we will probably wrap up there because we probably haven't got enough time to go full-on adventure-tastic right now. But we've got a little group of characters. We've got prologue, we've got character creation. We know how they met in the battle against Chowboy, the donut-eating villain who gained strength from consuming carbohydrates, in which the spirit of Granny Longlegs was awakened in Rust. The mayor developed a strong antipathy for the group because they wrecked his car. They're able to stay in touch via telepathy as long as Makeshift remembers to pick that power up. And they have a hidden base where they hold a weapon of last resort and a vehicle which Makeshift likes to tell everyone is really, really cool.
Yeah, and he totally can drive, but he has to stick a learner sticker.
Definitely isn't a minivan.
No, not a minivan.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us.
Before we go on the mission, he has to give us a team talk and a bit of a roasting not to touch his car. Do not use the car as a weapon.
Any other car as a weapon is fine, not my
But
car.
not this one.
This is mind
learned how to ride a
melds.
motorbike.
I can't scuff it. I gotta bring it back for Saturday.
I can't
motorbike
afford
with
the
a tail.
insurance if you write off my car.
Yeah.
And we'll find out what further adventures this brave and scrappy group of heroes gets up to next week. Yes, I think it is next week because Star Wars isn't back until the 20-something.
26th.
26th, yes. And so we'll be plugging the gaps between Star Wars games with some Masks, a New Generation, either with the happy-go-lucky crew you see before you or with other drop-ins and drop-outs as needed whenever we can. So thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again on Monday for Twig this week in Garblag. But if you're bumming around with nothing to do tomorrow and you're awake in American times, I will be on another channel playing Glitter Hearts for the Stonewall Community Foundation in a charity stream. So come along and join us there. You can find all the details on our Discord. Exclamation mark Discord. There. And it'd be great to see you. Otherwise, if you've missed any of our other shenanigans, there's a week behind on YouTube at the minute. So the week after they come out, they pop up on YouTube. So coming out today on YouTube, you should be able to see last week's Star Wars game, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely didn't get anyone in trouble.
No.
Hello, I am 8 feet tall and obvious. Let me be your friend. We're trying to sneak into a gangster's hideout. Hello.
I think Roger caused more trouble trying to sneak in the back, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Oh, well, yeah. Never irritate two Wookiee bouncers. That's the thing we learned, I think.
Nobody got their arms ripped off, though, which is always good.
That's true. That is true.
Exactly. That's the
Understanding when to tactically withdraw is important to any soldier.
And then join us on Monday for Twig when we're going to go over what's coming up next week in Garblag. Once we have a better idea of who's available, what, when, and where, who's ill, who's not ill. It's been a week. It has definitely been a week for illness and disaster. Earlier today, my computer packed up. My keyboard had run out of battery power. And whenever I installed new batteries, it turned out that they too had run out of battery power. In the end, I had to restart the whole thing and run everything back through. It's like, no stress, no panic. It's only 8:30. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, we'll be back for more next week. Jim's told me that you got 5-6 more sessions of Titao.
Yeah, we've done episode 7, and I think it's going to be 12, maybe 13 episodes before I can leave them on a big cliffhanger.
Excellent. We'll have a big cliffhanger. So join us next week when we know for sure that's happening, and we will confirm whether or not we're getting some Pathfinder action, some Star Trek action, and then we'll be back for this next week for some more Masks New Generation, where we'll actually start out on an adventure scenario with the team. So thank you very much for joining us, and good night for now.
Right.
Hello.